Welcome to Bible in a Year with Scott Purcell. I'm so glad you're joining me. This is a daily reading of portions of the Bible, following a plan that will include the entire Bible in a year. And now, let's open the book and begin our readings. This is the reading for day 117. If your reading is aligned with the calendar year in a non-leap year, this is for April 27th, or in a leap year for April 26th. The Old Testament reading is from Joshua chapter 11 and chapter 12. Joshua 11. And it happened, when Jabin, king of Hazor, heard this, he sent to Jobab, king of Madon, to the king of Shimron, to the king of Akshaph, to the kings who were in the north in the hill country, in the Arabah south of Kinnereth, in the Shephelah, and in Naphoth Dor in the west, to the Canaanites in the east and the west, the Amorites, the Hittites, the Perizzites, and the Jebusites in the hill country, and the Hivites at the foot of Hermon in the land of Mizpah. They came out, they and all their armies with them, as a great army, like the sand on the seashore, with very many horses and chariots. And all these kings joined forces, and they came and camped together by the waters of Merom to fight with Israel. And Yahweh said to Joshua, "Do not be afraid because of their presence, for tomorrow at this time I will hand them over slain to Israel. You will hamstring their horses and burn their chariots with fire." So Joshua and all the fighting men with him came against them suddenly at the waters of Merom, and they attacked them. And Yahweh gave them into the hand of Israel, and they struck and pursued them up to Great Sidon, and Misrephoth Maim, and eastward up to the valley of Mizpah. And they struck them until they left behind no survivor. And Joshua did to them as Yahweh commanded him. He hamstrung their horses and burned their chariots with fire. Then Joshua turned back at that time, and he captured Hazor and struck its king with the sword, because Hazor formerly was the head of all these kingdoms. He struck all of the people that were in it with the edge of the sword, utterly destroying them. There was no one left who breathed, and he burned Hazor with fire. And Joshua captured all the cities of these kings, and all their kings, and he utterly destroyed them with the edge of the sword, as Moses, the servant of Yahweh, commanded. Israel did not burn the cities standing on their mounds, except Hazor alone, which Joshua burned. And all the spoil and livestock of these cities the Israelites took as booty. They struck the people with the edge of the sword until they had destroyed them. They left behind no one who breathed. Just as Yahweh commanded Moses his servant, so Moses commanded Joshua, and Joshua did. He left nothing undone that Yahweh had commanded Moses. So Joshua took all this land, the hill country, all the Negev, all the land of Goshen, the Shephelah, the Arabah, and the hill country of Israel and its Shephelah, from Mount Halak that rises to Seir, and to Baal Gad in the valley of Lebanon at the foot of Mount Hermon. He captured all their kings, struck them, and killed them. For many days Joshua made war with all these kings. There was not a city that made peace with the Israelites besides the Hivites and the inhabitants of Gibeon. All were taken in battle. For it was Yahweh that hardened their hearts to meet Israel in war, in order to utterly destroy them without mercy, that they would destroy them just as Yahweh commanded Moses. At that time Joshua came and exterminated the Anakites from the hill country, from Hebron, Debir, Anab, and from all the hill country of Judah, and from all the hill country of Israel. Joshua utterly destroyed them with their cities. None of the Anakites were left in the land of the Israelites. Some remained only in Gaza, Gath, and Ashdod. Joshua took all the land according to all that Yahweh had spoken to Moses. and Joshua gave it as an inheritance to Israel, according to their tribal divisions, and the land rested from war. Joshua 12. These are the kings of the land whom the Israelites defeated, and of whose land they took possession beyond the Jordan to the east, from the Wadi of Arnon up to Mount Hermon, and all of the Arabah to the east. Sihon, king of the Amorites, who lived in Heshbon and ruled from Aroer, which is on the edge of the Wadi of Arnon, from the middle of the valley and half of Gilead up to the Jabbok River, which marks the border of the Ammonites, and the Arabah up to the Kinnereth Sea to the east, and as far as the Sea of Arabah, the Salt Sea to the east, in the direction of Beth Jeshimoth, and to the area southward at the foot of the slopes of Pisgah, the territory of Og, king of Bashan, one of the last of the Rephaites, who lived at Ashtaroth and Edrei, and ruled over Mount Hermon and Salakah, and over all Bashan, up to the border of the Geshurites and the Maacathites, and half of Gilead, as far as the border of Sihon, king of Heshbon. Moses, Yahweh's servant, and the Israelites defeated them, and Moses, Yahweh's servant, gave it as a possession to the Reubenites, the Gadites, and the half-tribe of Manasseh. These are the kings of the land whom Joshua and the Israelites defeated beyond the Jordan to the west, from Baal-Gad in the valley of Lebanon and up to Mount Halak, which rises to Seir. And Joshua gave it as a possession to the tribes of Israel according to their allotments in the hill country, the Shephelah, the Arabah, on the slopes, in the wilderness, and in the Negev, the Hittites, the Amorites, the Canaanites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites. The king of Jericho, 1. The king of Ai, which is beside Bethel, 1. The king of Jerusalem, 1. The king of Hebron, 1. The king of Jarmuth, 1. The king of Lachish, 1. The king of Eglon, 1. The king of Gezer, 1. The king of Debir, 1. The king of Geder, 1. The king of Hormah, 1. The king of Arad, 1. The king of Libnah, 1. The king of Adullam, 1. The king of Makkedah, 1. The king of Bethel, 1. The king of Tappuah, 1. The king of Hepher, 1. The king of Aphek, 1. The king of Lasharon, 1. The king of Madon, 1. The king of Hazor, 1. The king of Shemram-Meron, 1. The king of Akshaph, 1. The king of Tanakh, 1. The king of Megiddo, 1. The king of Kedesh, 1. The king of Jokneam in Carmel, 1. The king of Dor in Naphath Dor, 1. The king of Goyim for Gilgal, 1. The king of Tirzah, 1. All the kings, 31. The New Testament reading is from Luke 24, verses 1 through 35. Luke 24. Now on the first day of the week, at very early dawn, they came back to the tomb, bringing the fragrant spices which they had prepared. And they found the stone had been rolled away from the tomb. But when they went in, they did not find the body. And it happened that while they were perplexed about this, behold, 2 men in gleaming clothing stood near them. And as they were terrified and bowed their faces to the ground, they said to them, "Why are you looking for the living among the dead? He is not here, but has been raised. Remember how he spoke to you while he was still in Galilee, saying that the Son of Man must be delivered into the hands of men who are sinners, and be crucified, and on the 3rd day rise." And they remembered his words. And when they returned from the tomb, they reported all these things to the 11 and to all the rest. Now Mary Magdalene and Joanna and Mary the mother of James and the others with them were telling these things to the apostles. And these words appeared to them as nonsense, and they refused to believe them. But Peter got up and ran to the tomb, and bending over to look, he saw only the strips of linen cloth, and he went away to his home wondering what had happened. And behold, on that same day, 2 of them were traveling to a village named Emmaus, that was 60 stadia distant from Jerusalem. And they were conversing with one another about all these things that had happened. And it happened that while they were conversing and discussing, Jesus himself also approached and began to go along with them. But their eyes were prevented from recognizing him. And he said to them, "What are these matters that you are discussing with one another as you are walking along?" And they stood still, looking sad. And one of them, named Cleopas, answered and said to him, "Are you the only one living near Jerusalem and not knowing the things that have happened in it in these days?" And he said to them, "What things?" So they said to him, "The things concerning Jesus the Nazarene, a man who was a prophet, powerful in deed and word before God and all the people, and how our chief priests and rulers handed him over to a sentence of death and crucified him. But we were hoping that he was the one who was going to redeem Israel. But in addition to all these things, this is the 3rd day since these things took place. But also some women from among us astonished us who were at the tomb early in the morning. And when they did not find his body, they came back saying that they had seen even a vision of angels who said that he was alive. And some of those with us went out to the tomb and found it like this, just as the women had also said, but him they did not see." And he said to them, "O foolish and slow in heart to believe in all that the prophets have spoken. Was it not necessary that the Christ suffer these things and enter into his glory? And beginning from Moses and from all the prophets, he interpreted to them the things concerning himself in all the Scriptures. And they drew near to the village where they were going, and he acted as though he was going farther. And they urged him strongly, saying, 'Stay with us, because it is getting toward evening, and by this time the day is far spent.' And he went in to stay with them. And it happened that when he reclined at the table with them, he took the bread and gave thanks, and after breaking it, he gave it to them. And their eyes were opened, and they recognized him, and he became invisible to them. And they said to one another, 'Were not our hearts burning within us while he was speaking with us on the road, while he was explaining the Scriptures to us?' And they got up that same hour and returned to Jerusalem and found the 11 and those with them assembled, saying, 'The Lord has really been raised and has appeared to Simon.' And they began describing what happened on the road and how he was recognized by them in the breaking of bread." The Wisdom Literature reading is from Psalm 51 from verse 10 through 19. Psalm 51:10. "Create a clean heart for me, O God, and renew a steadfast spirit within me. Do not cast me away from your presence, and do not take your Holy Spirit from me. Restore to me the joy of your salvation, and with a willing spirit sustain me. Then I will teach transgressors your ways, and sinners will turn back to you. Deliver me from the guilt of bloodshed, O God, the God of my salvation. Then my tongue will sing aloud of your righteousness. O Lord, open my lips, and my mouth will proclaim your praise. For you do not delight in sacrifice, or I would give it. With a burnt offering you are not pleased. The sacrifices of God are a broken spirit, a broken and contrite heart, O God, you will not despise. Do good in your favor toward Zion. Build the walls of Jerusalem. Then you will delight in righteous sacrifices, burnt offerings, and whole burnt offering. Then bulls will be offered on your altar. This concludes the reading for day 117. Thank you for listening. These daily readings are made possible by your generous support of the Global Outreach Ministry of Scott Purcell. To partner with us and enable this work and others like it, please visit huttobible.com/give and select Go Pastor Support from the fund list. You can also sign up for ministry updates at scott-purcell.epistle.org/subscribe. Both of those links can be found in the podcast description. Thank you for helping us share God's Word.